Well, here I am in my car. I'm going to start talking to you guys. Get to look at my elbow again. And mostly these days, people don't really think much about people talking to themselves. So I fit right in. All right. So, I made a tape this morning and then I deleted it because, well, I forgot to talk about the North Pole. So I had to make sure that this time I talk about the North Pole because that's actually kind of important when it comes to everything I'm going to discuss on this video. And anyway, what it boils down to is I have traced or mapped 4 sets of Jupiterian stripes. 2 are in the Jupiterian 9 stripe period. 1 is in the Jupiterian 11 stripe period, and the other is in the Jupiterian 13 stripe period. So basically, what does that mean? It means that the planet has decelerated over the course of the last 4.4 billion years before present. And yeah, I don't really care if the scientists don't ever figure it out. But what I can tell you from it is that our Earth has 6 primary vortices. You have the Arctic vortex, the Antarctic vortex. I mean, that almost seems like a no-brainer right there. And you have 4 vortices around the equator. The Sipaliwini Vortex in the northern, well, the Brazilian jungle, or, you know, the Amazon, which one of those places. And, well, because, you know, the Amazon River, by the way, is actually is a spiral density fracture of the Sipaliwini Vortex. And it's not just a river, and that's not the only reason why it's the biggest one of the biggest rivers, right? So now you have Lake Victoria in Africa, you have North Banda Basin in Indonesia, and then you have a spot in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, which doesn't seem to be quite as violent as the other 3 equatorial vortices. North Banda Basin is by far the most violent, most active, you might say, in geological terms, but part of its overactive behavior has a lot to do with the South China Sea impactor striking north and west of the North Banda Basin vortical core. And then in so impacting the Earth, it created its own vortex, which rotates in the opposite direction as the North Banda Basin vortex, which basically, in simple terms, can be referred to as the Indonesian vortex. So all those islandish, if you want to call it that, right, formations of Earth in a circle going around Indonesia, those are marking the vortical perimeter of that Indonesian vortex. I've explained it in other videos that I've done. I'm just going to keep explaining stuff. But what's more important is, in my determining that there were 4 Jupiterian stripe periods scored in the surface of our planet, I've only been able to find 3 impactors that were large enough to affect the planet in this manner of agitating the asthenosphere into asthenostreams that are basically the same thing. They're comparable to jet streams on Jupiter, but they're in the asthenosphere. They travel beneath the crust of the Earth. And when they're agitated, they leave scores, linear scores, across the planet in the shape of rings that appear like Jupiterian rings, or you know, Jupiterian stripes, right? That's my point. I've pointed it out before. It's there. You know, this morning I was talking about horses. You can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink it. Well, I tell you what, there's a lot of horses on this planet that don't like water. The evidence is, to me, I don't know if I'm using the right word. I'm going to say it's profound. Man, it's like in your face, and we can't see it to save our lives. We can't see the trees because of the, oh wait, that's the other way around. We can't see the forest because of the trees. Yeah. I had to think of Marilyn Manson's song to figure out the right way to say that. So, anyhow, what it boils down to is we have 4 sets of Jupiterian stripes. The oldest were the count of 13, and what that means is the Earth was rotating at a faster rate at the time that the asthenosphere was agitated enough to create the Jupiterian 13 stripe scores. And at about that time, if you do the math, one Earth day would have been approximately 16 something hours. You know, not 24 hours like we have today. Not a Jupiterian 9 stripe gives you a 24-hour rotation for our planet. The Jupiterian rotational speeds are shared with all of the planets in our solar system. And I'm going to go one step farther and theorize that our parent black hole, which drives our solar system's rotation, is also in a Jupiterian 9 stripe rotational speed. Okay, so anyway, sorry for the pause. I'm also driving, so I have to look at all these people and wonder where they're going to go next. Not that there's anybody in front of me right now. I don't know what happened to them. They all disappeared, which is fine with me. I don't like driving behind people. But anyway, going back to the Earth. Okay, so we had basically had 3 impactors that were strong enough. Go on, keep going, keep going. Yeah, you can wait. Wow, I got the green light, and they have an unprotected left turn, but they were like, hey, we're going to go and block you. That's like, I don't think so. I'll share a little bit, but he ain't going to freaking push me out of my own right to drive. I have the green light, doggone it. Well, so do they, but it's unprotected left turn, so they have to yield to me, right? Yeah, that's what it is. Corn dogs. Well, anyway. Okay, so you have what I refer to as 2 world-class impactors. The Pacific... Wait. The North Pacific Oceanic Impactor. I've talked about that in my videos. The Guacanayabo Impactor in the Gulf of Mexico. And no, it's not the same as the Chicxulub Impactor. The Chicxulub Impactor was quite a bit, way smaller. And yet, and it's newer too. So, the Guacanayabo Impactor was about 56.6 kilometers in diameter. So was the North Pacific Oceanic Impactor. Though they are almost exactly the same size impactors, they came from completely opposite directions of approach. Okay, so basically as the planet flies through the galaxy, the North Pacific Oceanic Impactor struck the Earth head on. And then the Guacanayabo Impactor struck the planet from underneath-ish. not from behind, but actually from underneath in the northern hemisphere, and knocked the shit out of the planet in the process of doing that. It's responsible for the Jupiterian 11 stripe scores. So the planet was rotating in approximately 20 hours a day at the time that the Kukanayabo struck the planet. And the reason I'm telling you that the Kukanayabo knocked the shit out of the planet is because the scores are rocking. They're not nearly as uniformly parallel to each other and flat as the other three scores. So that kind of tells you something. It kind of tells you that, and you can see how it would have struck the nose of the planet, which would have tipped the nose of the planet upward upon its impact, or in the opposite direction of its, or into the same direction of its flight as it approached the Earth. So if it was coming from your right, then the Earth is going to get smacked to the left, right? That's how that works. Anybody watching me drive my car and slap my face probably is wondering what the hell's wrong with this guy. But anyhow, my hand was supposed to be the impactor, and my face was Earth, right? So, for all they know, I was killing a bug flying. I had a mosquito. That's what it was. It was biting my face. Okay. Now the other impactor was more like what I've decided to call a galactic class impactor, but only because it had to be, I wanted it to be named something that was, or put into a class that was greater than, or would have been perceived to be greater than, a world class. The reason I named the other two world class is because they affected the entire planet. Well, so did the South China Sea impactor. It affected the whole entire planet, but way worse. It caused a whole bunch of asthenospheric tsunamis, or no, I think it's deeper than that. Wait, I'm screwing it up. I'm getting screwed up between the asthenosphere and the lithosphere. So the lithosphere is the sphere of the Earth in my theoretical process that is responsible for becoming agitated by either impactors or global warming. Let it slip out. So it's also the one that allows the scoring of the Jupiterian stripes. It's the asthenosphere that allows the motion of force and the inertial energy of the interior to travel faster than anything else on the planet at the point, and basically form into underworld, if you want to call it that, underworld tsunamis that are molten and travel beneath the continents and do not emerge above the continents until they find a weak spot in the crust through centrifugal force. Examples of this are Japan, where the semi-molten lava surfaced above the surface of the Earth, above the crust, as molten lava. And then you have an example of the Himalaya, where the asthenospheric tsunami did not have the strength to push the continental mass out of its way and break through it. So it simply raised that mass. And basically you end up with this great big creeping wave of mountains as they climb over the top of India in this instance, right? Yeah, India didn't get shoved up and underneath of the Himalaya. The Himalaya got pushed, raised, and on top of India. And we're looking at everything backward. You invert it, and you'll start to see how these things are coming together. Well, what does that mean for us? This guy's trailer is like bouncing up and down, this semi-tractor trailer. It almost looks like one of those cars that has shocks that make them go boink, 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 boink. Only this guy's got his trailer doing it. And it makes you think he's doing it on purpose. Because it's like, oh, check this out. I hope the eggs don't break. All right, anyway. or the nitro blows, right? Yeah. Okay, so but those are only 3 impactors. I don't have any other. I can't find any other evidence of any other impactor large enough to really knock the shit out of our planet and make it do all kinds of melted, funny, weird things. So what I'm looking at is the earliest Jupiterian stripe scores that occurred during the Jupiterian 13 stripe period were not caused by an impactor, but rather caused by a natural period where the Earth had entered into its own, because there wasn't nobody around back then, so you can't blame it on people. It entered into its own natural state of worldwide liquefaction because of global warming. So as the planet warms up, I've said this so many times, but I know there's not really a whole lot of people out there listening to my videos, I don't think, but the world swells up. When we swell up, after going to the gym and our muscles get all fat and everything, and our skin gets thin, and we perspire and stuff like that, the planet does the same thing. And when it swells up, when it gets hot, it swells up, and when it swells up, the skin of the planet, which in this case is the crust, gets thinner. As it gets thinner, it becomes more malleable. As it becomes more malleable, then you have the 6 primary vortices becoming activated on the crustal level. So the North Pole, or the Arctic vortex, and the 4 equatorial vortices are all anticyclonic. So that means they're sucking everything in from outside and pushing it in toward the core. And then the South Pole, the Antarctic vortex, is cyclonic. And so basically it's sucking everything out from the interior of the Earth, from the core of the Earth, and pushing it out into Antarctica. This is why you have 2 sets of 4. No, that's wrong too. Let me get my numbers right. 2 sets of 2, giving you 4 prominent spiral density arms in Antarctica. And the 2 spiral density arms that radiate out from, I don't know what better term to use, radiate out from the Earth's current South Pole are the largest. So when they were activated, the last time that the Earth had its vortices pissed off, if you want to call it that, and they started getting really active, that was the most recent one. And that would have been one of the reactions that the planet had to the South China Sea impactor. The other 2 prominent spiral density arms, one of which feeds into the Sandwich Islands between Antarctica and South America, on the Magellan Strait and all. That's an older spiral density arm, and its buddy going out the other end. And that one, you probably, if you really want to get precise about it, you got to go and get core samples at these points. But anyway, so basically my point is global warming. Global warming is one of the 2 things that will cause the planet to enter into a state of worldwide liquefaction. And that's not a good thing, folks, because we're kind of headed that way. Now, we're probably headed that way mostly because it's a natural state that's going to occur whether we like it or not. Problem is, we've already infested the planet, and that means that our life on this planet is not going to be very sustainable when the world enters into this liquefied state where the vortices begin rotating. And by the way, don't go fishing in Lake Victoria when that happens. No, here's the thing, right? Now, what I forgot to mention was the North Pole. So when the ice, like the Antarctic ice, is melting, and we know it's melting at a rather alarming rate, you're going to have melting going on the North Pole. And when the Arctic becomes melted to a specific point, it's probably going to turn into a frickin' slushy, a planetary slushy at the top of the planet. And when it hits the slushy state, it's going to start turning into a vortex. That's my prediction. That's going to be one of the great signs and wonders that are mentioned probably in the book of Revelation, right? That wasn't really described in detail, but we're going to see that happen, and people are going to start shitting bricks. Hello, that is only the beginning. The ice is going to go before the earth starts getting really spinny and turning into mom's blender again. Okay? The Pacific. I wanted to talk about Africa. Africa is going to rotate or continue to rotate in a clockwise manner, relative to the north being at the top and the south being at the base. Excuse me. No, I don't have COVID either. Get off me. Anyway, now, the North Banda Basin vortex is also rotating in a clockwise direction, which means their partners on the other sides of the planet are rotating in counterclockwise rotational directions, even though the core of the two vortices being connected to each other through the core of the Earth is rotating the same direction. Imagine that, right? Okay. So basically for America, what are you going to see? Well, you have the Arctic vortex 45-degree perimeter cutting right through the state of basically the lower half of the state of Washington. And this is the state of Washington, or was it Oregon? Nope, you know what? I take that back. I think it dips down into Oregon. But what you have is you've got the Columbia River, and the Columbia River is similar to the Amazon River. It's not a river just because the water cut its way through the ground. It not only cut its way through the ground, but that's also a crevice. It is a crevice between 2 points of land that are going to separate. And like we see the Vancouver Island, we're going to see more of that type of separation right around the Columbia River when these vortices become more active. And you're going to start getting seismic activity. Had to get my word right. Couldn't think I was going to say seismology, but I meant seismic activity. And so we're going to get our seismic activity picking up, and that's where it's going to pick up. So you're going to likely see most of the activity taking place more easily along the crevice that was already created by this similar activity, right? And in the process, you're going to start to see Sacagawea moving westward. You're going to start to see San Francisco literally fall into the ocean. Not California, just San Francisco. And that's because it's right on top of the Pacific Oceanic Vortex along the San Andreas Fault. Go figure, right? Well, doesn't that make sense? That makes sense. That makes a damn lot of sense. And that's so Baja California, the Gulf of California being already a part of that separation of land, is just going to continue to split right up through San Francisco as the portion of California and Baja are pushed northward and northwest. Okay, Hokkaido. Hokkaido is going into the Pacific Ocean. Why? Because Hokkaido's right on the outer perimeter of the North Banda Basin Vortex, which is rotating in a clockwise manner, which is forcing that landmass of Japan further into the Pacific Ocean. Hello? All right. So, there you have it, right? And I'll make sure I don't leave nothing out. We talked about the slushy stuff up in the north. And let's say, for instance, there was no ice on the Arctic. I'm going to tell you that I strongly believe and theorize that in the absence of ice, but the presence of water, a maelstrom will appear on the North Pole that rotates in the direction that is opposite the planetary rotation. Just like Antarctica is rotating in the opposite direction of the planetary rotation. Look at the spiral density arms and figure it out. We have plenty of scientists on this blessed planet that can figure it out if they just go and think about it. Besides, that's the sound of somebody popping their head out of their ass. So, that's kind of what I'm hoping people will start to do, but I'm afraid what it's going to boil it down to is, one, no one's going to think of anything, if anybody ever even discovers what I'm trying to talk about, they're not going to take it seriously. And that's one of the things that I wanted to bring up too. I mean, people are getting upset with Trump because apparently, Trump didn't behave or act fast enough with the COVID thing. And he, I forget the word I wanted to use, basically just talked it down, damn, the word I want is right at the tip of my tongue and I can't get it. Downplayed COVID-19. That's the wrong thing to do. Look what happened. But, it kind of sucks to be a politician too. I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent. Politicians are fucked if they do and they're fucked if they don't. If they do tell everybody to wear masks, then everybody starts going and protesting about not wanting to wear masks. And then if they don't, everybody blames them for COVID-19 because nobody wore masks. It's like, come on, folks. Well, it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to tell the world, I'm not the only one. Everybody, there's a lot of people out there, I wouldn't say everybody, of course, but there's a lot of people out there saying, look, governments of the world, global warming is an issue and we can have an impact on it, bad or good. And that's the truth. And even if it is a natural state, which I'm pretty sure it's probably just a natural state the planet's going to end up going through, we are guilty of accelerating that state of being with our fossil fuel consumption. And I'm no better than anybody else out there. I'm not trying to say you're a bad world. I'm a part of the world too. In fact, you're looking at this video with me driving my car. So, yeah, I'm just as evil as anybody. But what we need to do as a world is try to find a way to wean ourselves rapidly from our dependence on fossil fuels to provide us our joys in life. Because, let's face it, a lot of people on the planet are fascinated with machinery and mechanisms. It's just how we roll. But we can do it in a safer manner, and we really should consider the consequences of not doing it in a safer manner soon enough. I know that's a lot of preaching going on there, but we're hot on a trail to cooking ourselves, and in the process, getting swallowed up into the earth when it becomes liquefied. And the liquefaction is not going to take millions and trillions and bazillions of years to cause formations like the spiral density arms in Antarctica. It's going to be quick. It's going to be just as quick as impactors causing asthenospheric tsunamis. And we're going to end up seeing a new set of Jupiterian stripes scored into the Earth that are going to be, the freshest ever. And what we hope is that they won't be fewer in number. I really doubt that they'll be fewer in number. Why? Well, because we're tracking our time, and our time is staying pretty steady. So it's still pretty steady 24 hours. So we're going to end up still with 9 stripes. We're just going to have very fresh 9 stripe scores in the crust of our planet. And what does that mean for us? That probably means that the Jupiterian 9 stripe scores that were already scored into our planet is where the new scores are going to regenerate. So keep an eye out for it, scientists. You're going to see a lot of activity begin to take place with the ground becoming agitated along those very deep crevices that are cut into the Pacific Ocean. That's all I'm saying right there. You're going to see it. It's going to start acting. And I'll be straight up honest with you, it's going to scare the shit out of people. And right now, we think we're all almighty and powerful, but we ain't shit. When this planet starts going liquefied, we're going to be doing everything we can to try to stay above ground. Forget trying to stay above water, just try to stay above ground. That cliche is going to have a whole new meaning. So, I'm not even near home yet. Okay, now, when we start to see the vortices activate, the Sipaliwini Vortex on its 45-degree perimeter that runs, right along the Appalachians, is going to start causing the Appalachians to become more of a teardrop. And that teardrop is going to continue to travel southward in toward Florida, in which Florida, by the way, because of the Guacanayabo blast bow wave, or B2W, is going to not only be forced down farther, it's going to be forced down and westward over the top of Guacanayabo. Into, or further into, wow, that guy's cool, because he has like a Porsche, and like he can weave in and out of traffic, that guy does. Alright, so Florida is going to end up going further into the Gulf of Mexico. Those are my predictions there for America. All of our volcanoes are going to become active. When we start seeing all of the volcanoes getting active, we're probably going to see them blow their tops first. They're going to have to blow the plugs out with all the pressure that starts building up in there again. Oh, another thing. Yellowstone magma is fed into the Yellowstone aneurysm, planetary aneurysm that is, from the Hudson Bay, from a further point just slightly farther north than that in Nunavut, from a channel that was created when an asthenospheric tsunami traveled through there and caused a planetary landslide in North America, which partly is responsible for creating the Rocky Mountains. All right, it's also responsible for creating Yellowstone, and Yellowstone basically is at the tail end of a lava tube. But in this case, I won't call it a lava tube because it's probably large enough to put, you know, the Dominican Islands in there or something. So it's probably more like a channel. And it's a molten lava channel that is still, still active and flowing. And that's how Yellowstone builds up. And what happens when these vortices begin to rotate more, the Arctic vortex is going to end up either crushing or severing. If it crushes, if it actually ends up crushing that magma channel that feeds Yellowstone, well, Yellowstone might just dry up. If it severs it, then it could mean that basically all it's doing is shifting that gear just enough so that a new channel is created, which is basically what you see between the after I spoke to a friend who brought it to my attention. I'm saying Yellowstone had a twin caldera, and what he was explaining is, no, the caldera to the east of Yellowstone's current caldera is Yellowstone's first caldera, meaning that Yellowstone already has shifted westward. And if the Earth becomes active again, could shift even farther westward, which would probably cause a whole lot of turmoil and agony for people living around there, or anywhere else in North America, maybe. But once the volcanoes pop their tops, then you're probably going to pretty much be looking at lava flows like you get out of, Kilauea. And other volcanoes that just have a bunch of running lava going down the slopes. So, now, speaking of Kilauea, Hawaii, I don't care what the scientists tell you. They need to take a look at Hawaii and pull their heads out of their asses. Hawaii is a central peak of an impact that took place who knows how long ago. But the pop, the point of penetration, one, it's a frickin' circle right there smack between east of Oahu, south of Molokai, and west of Hawaii. Come on now, it's a frickin' hole in the ground. And in the middle of it, you have its own basic central peak. But that's not what really gives it away. What really gives it away is its low trajectory, low angle impact crater, which you have 3 fingers coming out, just like that, and they're pointing to the north. And if they're low trajectory, that means that my arm represents the origin of the impactor, and it spewed matter in the same direction that the object was flying because of it being low trajectory. Bigger than shit. Bigger than Stuttgart. And yet nobody sees it. It's like, holy cow, man. Indonesia, it's a freaking vortex. Nobody sees it. What the hell do you people do? Are you smoking pot? My God. Oh, we think it's plate tectonic. God, it's time somebody started thinking new thoughts and not these thoughts from frickin' back when Ptolemy was around, or however you say that guy's name. I don't know if his P is silent or not. It's probably just Ptolemy. I don't know. Whatever that guy's name is. Anyway, come on, people. This truck is going slow. I think I'm going to pass him. What else have I not addressed? Oh, another big circle. I keep bringing this one up too. Bermuda Rise, Central Peak. Guess what goes around it? A massive, great big monster circle. It goes all the way into frickin' the east coast of America, the United States. And does anybody see that? No. I don't see it. They're all like, We think the aliens live there. No, the aliens don't live there, guys. I mean, I'm not saying there ain't aliens, but I don't think they live in the Bermuda Triangle. What I do think, though, is that the impactor destructor might have been ferromagnetic. Hello? Very large and ferromagnetic, depositing large quantities and amounts of ferromagnetic stones, whatever, as fragmentary elements from the blast that took place. And all of those ferromagnetic items are interfering with our electronics and our magnetic devices. Easy explanation. Makes perfect sense. At least to me it does. And it ain't because of freaking aliens from outer space. I mean, get it right? I'm not debunking anybody's alien experience. It has nothing to do with that. I'm just saying Bermuda Triangle doesn't have shit to do with aliens. In fact, I'll be the first one to tell you the aliens are going to be like, yo, buddy, Jim Bob, Billy Boo, don't go there. That shit's going to fuck with your fucking instruments and then you're going to crash. Well, anywho, did I just get back behind? I swear I just passed this Werner guy. I got either that or it's another one with the same frickin' trailer. Yep, you know how we do refuel in the air? These guys did like re-trailer on the road. They farped on the road. I'm gonna go around him again because I don't know how the hell he got in front of me, but doggone it, I went around him because he was going slower than the freaking speed limit. I must have been going slower than I'm driving like a yo-yo. I'm gonna piss him off when I go back in front of him again. He's probably definitely gonna get pissed off because he knows I'm like flapping my gums here, talking to my phone like I'm actually having a conversation with somebody. Damn, I think I covered more topic. Maybe because I'm driving slower. Going to work, I can't afford to drive slower. I got to get there on time. Yep, all these people are gonna get mad at me when I start passing them. Yep, they're speeding up already. I'm like, oh hell no! I just passed you, yo. Uh-oh. There's the po-po. Oh, that's the trucker po-po. You got the trucker po-pos, and then you just have the po-po-po-po. I've never seen the trucker po-po pull over anybody outside of trucks. But I have seen the po-po pull over trucks. Them guys get to pull over anybody. They're like, I got this. I have a Ford. We can do this. Oh wait, the other one's a Ford too. That's what I like about Fords. It's the only company that didn't need to get bailed out. I mean, somebody up there in their upper management was doing business right. Doggone it, now these people are going slower than the freaking speed limit. Following FedEx. Yep. there it goes. Everybody followed FedEx right off the freeway. They're all like, oh, I want some. What you got in there? That air conditioner is getting kind of cold. Oh, okay. Well, now what else can I talk about? I was going to talk about things happening in the Northwest. I was talking about Yellowstone getting severed. Don't really know if the channel would continue or if the severance would end up causing a new Yellowstone caldera to appear further north as well as west. Hard to say. More than likely, it'll probably end up getting crushed. If it gets crushed, that might be a good thing. That might be the end of Yellowstone. Well, anyhow, so the Willamette and the Columbia. Oh yeah, Grand Coulee Dam. Well, when you start to see the west bank of the river that the Grand Coulee Dam sits on, and the east bank, well, the west bank's probably going to be the one that starts spreading away from the east bank. You're going to start to see the Grand Coulee Dam cracking, because it ain't going to stretch. And if we see the Grand Coulee Dam start failing, it isn't going to be necessarily because the dam is failing, but more than likely because the ground is moving as the vortices become more active. You're going to have seismic activity all around, all over the place. And one of the things that a very good friend of mine, I like to call him a very good friend. It's not like my wife and I hang out with people. We keep to ourselves. I mean, we're busy people. We got things to do and places to go. Well, actually, we don't have places to go. We have things to do, and we don't have people to see either. We just have things to do, like put a kitchen back in my house. Anyhow, I tell you what, though, man, fixing up the electric in that joint, what a mess. And I do mean a mess. That was an electrical nightmare. Still is. I'm still trying to frickin' unass that shit. And they had two lines going to the kitchen. Line A and line B. Okay. It's okay plan. So when line A decides to pop the circuit, you still have line B. But hello, you still have to go downstairs and flip the circuit back on. Duh. So why have line A and line B? You blow the circuit, you go flip the circuit back on. What, you can't leave the kitchen for a moment to go turn the circuit back on in the basement? I mean, what the hell? So that's kind of a dumb thing, right? But the problem is, line B wasn't connected to the panel in one spot. Line B started at the panel, and then line B ended at the panel. It's like, whoa, wait. So basically what you're telling me is line B was hooked up to two entirely separate 20 amp circuit breakers. Because how did I figure that one out? Well, because after I isolated the kitchen electrically from the rest of the house, I was like, okay, I can snip these lines and pull them out of the box. And I did. And sure as shit, line B still had power. I'm like, WTF, over. What the fuck was this guy thinking when he wired this house? He didn't get a permit, by the way. I'm like, this guy is a blithering idiot. Okay, so yeah, that's the kind of nightmare stuff I'm having to rectify. I have to have a dedicated line that goes to the microwave. I have to have a dedicated line that goes to the refrigerator. I have to have a dedicated line that goes to the range, which in this case has been converted back to gas, so I just need a 20 amper right there. And then, you know, then I can go ahead and daisy chain the rest of the outlets, which is really only 4, because I want another dedicated line for whatever on the opposite side of the kitchen. So what if we decide we don't want the microwave over in that corner? We can put it over in that corner, the other that corner. Yeah? All right. That's how that works. But man. And then we got the plumber coming in. We had the whole house repiped. House is over 100 years old. We had the whole house repiped. And all new plumbing stuff put in there. And we went from 2 water heaters to 1 what's that thing called? Instant water heater thingy. A heat pump. Heat pump? Is it a heat pump? I don't know. Anyway, it hangs on the wall. Well, that bugger's sweet. If you ever don't have one, it's the way to go. It circulates the hot water, so that pretty much almost instantaneously, anywhere in the house, anytime, you have hot water. It's great. I love it. When we take showers, we don't have to worry about me using up all the hot water, or vice versa. And anyway, it's an old house, and we want the ceiling. We're hoping to raise the ceilings back up to the original 10-foot height, because the people who lived there before us dropped the ceilings below that down to a normal 1970s ceiling height. I mean, like, my God, you guys ruined the house. Well, we bought it, so we bought it ruined. But trying to sort of bring it back to some kind of state that it might have at least looked like before they destroyed it and made it look modern. It's a frickin' what the hell's it called? Yeah. I can't think of it now. Craftsman style house. It has 3 floors. So, yeah, talk about that. I mean, we're having electrical nightmares in the basement, right? And well, anyway, so we raise this. We get rid of the lower ceiling in one of the rooms. That's going to be the doll room, and then we realize that after we did that, there's a shit pipe that somebody knocked out all of the plaster in the ceiling and put a shit pipe, and then on top of that, they wired the electrical wire to the shit pipe. Well, we need the plumber to move the shit pipe back up into the ceiling so I can put the ceiling higher. But to do that, I had to reroute the freaking electrical wire that was running. It was, they took some kind of metal wire, like a hanger, and they twisted it, and they tied the damn electrical line to the freaking shit pipe. That's what kind of an idiot I'm working with there. Yeah, we won't mention any names. Actually, no, I do remember his name. So, I think I do. Maybe I don't. Anyhow, that's what I've been doing. So, I mean, you know, as the world heats up, we're going to start seeing more fires. We're going to see a lot hotter weather. The hotter weather is going to make a lot of the water on the surface of the earth evaporate, which is going to cause more rain in different parts of the planet. And the rain is going to be extensive. The warmth is going to create vortices in our atmosphere, which is generally what we call hurricanes and tornadoes. Right? Yeah. And you're going to see a lot more of that. And you're going to see forest fires. Our forests are going to start to dwindle, not just from us chopping them up and using them to make homes with, which, by the way, when you think about it, you live in a plant. And when you think of a wooden house, you don't ever think of the fact that you know, it's kind of like one of those sci-fi movies where you're living in a tree. Well, you are living in a tree. You took the tree and you wrapped it around your space and you call your house. You're living in a plant. That's why your walls ain't always perfectly straight. It's because you built it with a plant. plants aren't straight. Hello? Those people are probably pissed off at me. I slowed down because I'm sitting here talking to you guys, and even though there might not be any of you guys out there. And then, but I moved over to the right, so they can kiss my ass. I was doing faster, but I slowed down, so whatever. Yeah, I don't know how the hell I filled up my time earlier. Must be taking me forever to get home. It's only 3:30 right now. And what else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, bridges. When we start seeing all this seismic activity taking place, bridges is probably one of the last places you want to get caught. So when you're driving across the bridge, make it quick. Don't hang out there. Don't be like these weirdos standing up there waving flags at people. Get the fuck off the bridge. They're not safe. And it ain't because they're built bad, it's just because the planet ain't gonna stay where you think it is. We live on a living planet. The only thing is, it probably just doesn't have feelings. I don't know. Following this pick-em-up truck in front of me. He's had his right turn signal on for like the last 7 miles. I'm kind of getting the impression he doesn't really plan on turning right. I'd hate to think that he would, because there's like a frickin' rail right there. I might have to go around this guy. He's slowing down. He's going too slow. Too slow for me even. Oh, I turned my signal on to merge left, and pick him up truck guy in the middle lane started speeding up. Well, you can kiss my ass, bro. Get your ass over there in the left lane. Oh, there he goes. Hey, what do you know? He listened to me. He's cruising now. Jackass. Alright, now I'm going back to the right. Oh, there goes the paramedics. So, there I was. What else did I want to talk about? What have I not mentioned? I already talked about Florida. I already talked about San Andreas pretty much. I think I did say that the equatorial vortices and the Arctic vortex are all anticyclonic, and the Antarctic vortex is cyclonic. I did mention that. I talked about the prominent spiral density arms. Holy crap! Shit, almost out of gas. I was supposed to get gas before I left for home. Oh, I'll be able to make it. How many miles? I got 70 miles. That's only 5 miles less than what I have to drive to get to work. Guess I'll have to stop off in Centralia and get gas. Well, anywho. So basically our planet has 3 cyclonic vortices. Those 3 cyclonic vortices are 1, the Antarctic vortex, which is one of the 6 primary vortices, and 2 and 3 are New Zealand and Fiji. The Fiji Island vortex and the New Zealand vortex. And we're starting to see a little bit more activity taking place in and around New Zealand. Well, that's because as the Earth warms up, the vortex that's currently spinning underneath of New Zealand is going to start affecting the surface of the planet more. That guy was driving a Volkswagen, but it sounded wrong. Because he's dragging something underneath of his car. What the hell? I don't think it's part of the car. He picked something up along the way. You would think he would hear it and at least be slightly alarmed. Had the sound of, okay, the sound that it was making was like taking it sounded like one of those street cleaning trucks. The brush on a street cleaning truck being dragged at 70 miles an hour down the freeway. I guess I'm going to go around working truck here. He's kind of dragging ass. So is everybody else in front of him. Okay. Oh, damn. It's starting to get boring around here. I know I'm getting boring. I don't know what else to talk about. Now, I didn't really look at the vortex going around up there, and or how the Arctic vortex is going to have an effect on Russia. But you can bet your bottom dollar it is. Alright, well, I'm probably going to have to stop this video. I'm not going to dick with my phone while I'm driving, so I'll have to stop it somewhere at some point eventually. Well, probably when I get to the service station. Whoa! Now my gas meter saying I got 65 miles. I don't remember driving 5 miles yet. Now, don't ever run out of gas on the Autobahn. You get yourself a citation for that. Derp, derp, derp. Well, seems a little odd for me to pick up speed now. Well, I'm a long ways away from home. But actually, maybe I don't want to pick up speed. Picking up speed means my fuel's going to go out quicker. Because it's going to take more fuel to go faster. Screw that. I ain't walking to the gas station. Well, that guy's an idiot ass. Why do people wait until the last minute and be like, oh, there's my off-ramp? And go, oh! All the way across all the fucking lanes to get off. It's like, you dumb motherfucker, you didn't know that's where you wanted to get off before? You could have started heading that way a long time ago. Going around the Big Bend, there's Great Wolf Lodge. Never been there. I hear you get imprisonated when you go there. you gotta stay there. It's like, I don't want to get stuck inside that joint. I ain't got the money to go there anyway. Fixing my house is taking all my money. straight shot to Centralia from here now. Yeah, with this whole automobile advertisement thing going on, where you get paid a certain amount of money to put somebody's logo on your car and stuff like that. Well, that car looked like it should have been driving in the freaking Indianapolis 500 or something. It's like, I'm starting to see a lot of those cars. You don't know if it's a company car or somebody's freaking traveling advertisement. It's like, makes you think, maybe I should do that. That might pay for the gas. Screw that. I don't want my car looking like a frickin' Indianapolis 500 race car. So this guy's creeping up on my ass. If you think I'm gonna speed up because you crept up on my ass, you're thinking wrong. Maybe they're nearsighted. They're like, oh, let me drive up this guy's tailpipe. Oh, wait a minute. No, that is a tailpipe. Oh, look at checking that shit out. Maybe I'll go faster if I bump it. Here's my off-ramp. It's too bad the sign, when you see it, says exit only, is like a mile of way. And then the off-ramp itself is like a mile long. You're just like, damn. Hurry up, off-ramp. I still have 60 miles I can go. I swear that wasn't 5 miles just now. I think there's something wrong with that countdown meter. Oh boy. Derp derp derp. These guys are all like, hey, that guy's getting off the freeway. Why is he passing me? No fair. It's because there ain't nobody sitting in front of me holding me back. You too can experience the joy of driving faster if you were not in the lane you're traveling in. Look at that guy. He's hauling ass. Yep, here I is. Uh-oh. Pedestrian. All right. Alrighty. Isn't this exciting? This is what I deal with every day on my commute home. If I'm not sitting there talking to myself on the telephone. Yeah, I'm listening to the music. It was a hard toss-up. I was like, hey, do I want to record another video or do I just want to listen to music? I don't know. I'd turn the music on if there wasn't like some kind of copyright law I might violate. I don't want to make all the singing people pissed off at me. All right, finally, I get a green light. Looks like we're going to make it to the gas station after all. Thought I was going to run out of gas at the stoplight. Oh, another stoplight. Joy of joys. Centralia is a little bit bigger than Chehalis. I think Chehalis has, what, 3 stoplights? All right. Now, somewhere up here is where that gas station is. Looks like I gotta do either a whoop around or drive in pointed in the opposite direction of somebody else. Oh, god damn it. This motherfucker wanted to come in. I suppose I'll wait until they park. He's actually holding his phone while he talks to it. Alright. And here he is. And there I stop. Oh, hey, I can turn my phone off now. Okay, thanks for listening to me. Don't forget to like.